Hey Dunchbags, what's going on? It's Landon Remixes here, and welcome to Top 5, the series where I talk about compilations. And today I'll be talking about the newest compilation from Monstercat called Monstercat Uncaged Volume 1. To our surprise, Monstercat 030 finale was actually a finale of sorts for Monstercat's compilation series. They have moved on from their regular compilations onto a brand new series called Uncaged. And with the beginning of this Uncaged series, it seems to be Monstercat kind of symbolically ending that cartoony, childish feel that their compilations had before, and kind of pushing on to become a much more serious record label. We've got even bigger names than the last album with this one. It seems like Monstercat wants to appeal to a much wider audience of EDM listeners and be taken a bit more seriously from adult listeners in the EDM scene. Though I really like this concept and the way that Monstercat is moving forward with their artwork, I'm not sure how I feel about every compilation being just called Uncaged when Monstercat used to have some pretty creative and tied together names for each compilation. Per usual, we've got a ton of new artists, like I already mentioned. Some of those are pretty big names, notably Bass Nectar coming to this album on the track Watch Out, which is considered Monstercat's unbelievable release that was hyped up for so long. That track is with Dirty Phonics and Raga Twins, both prominent names in the electronic music industry. We've also got Wolfgang Gartner, a personal favorite of mine from the Electro House Wave, coming in with Arrow Chord on the track Borneo. Tazo made his Monstercat debut with this compilation. We've got Darren Styles making his solo debut. 7 Minutes Dead released his first work in 10 compilations with the track Want You. That, of course, is under the new moniker Orbiter with Stephen Walking. And then kind of in that same vein of thinking, we've got Stonebank and Darren Styles coming together as Zero Hero with the track Bass Drop. Given that this album was so packed, there were a number of songs that were definitely letdowns for me. The major one of those being Bubble Beam by Nanaby, which made me kind of feel like Nanaby is working backwards from where he was with the very emotional packed Chipland, of course, that featured on my top 5 with Monstercat 030. This one just really wasn't doing a lot for me. Home by Nitrofun, although it did do a very good job of showing off Gus's wide range of production abilities, this song just turned out to be really messy in the end. Tokyo Machine, as always, is still using that same formula that's making his tracks very undistinguishable from each other, although I did kind of like the groovy, kind of funky vibe he was going for with the song Crazy. And then we've got Kuro, whose song Bandit sounds almost identical to their debut Aemon, a song that I already wasn't crazy about to begin with, and I really wasn't excited to see it make an appearance a second time on a Monstercat compilation. Richy's Boom, the song that is actually now Monstercat's most disliked song on their channel. I actually really liked the vibe the music video was going for. I thought it was really unique. Song was pretty bland, generic to me. Other than that, generally, I'd say things are looking pretty up with Monstercat Uncaged 1, and I can say it was at least moderately hard to try to pick out a top 5, but I think I've got a solid list ahead. First on my list, we've got the song Swapping Things by Topi, a song that I did not anticipate loving as much as I did. I mean, in the past, Topi has already had a pretty unique sound, but I think bringing that to house music kind of took that to the next level with Swapping Things. It's one of the most unique yet still insanely catchy house songs I've heard in a long time. I feel like if more house producers thought outside the box like Topi does with Swapping Things, I'd be much more into the genre than I am right now. Like I said, I didn't have any huge problems with Topi to begin with, but this release just really caught me off guard as a great one. In fact, I'd go as far as to say this is probably my favorite release that Monstercat's put out this year. Kind of in a similar situation to Rootkit, I feel like if Topi stays within this genre for a while, he's going to get some great things done. Next up is the mega collaboration between Slips and Slurs, Rogue, and Stonebank, fittingly titled Unity. I also reviewed the last mega collaboration on Monstercat, Break the Silence, in my Monstercat 5-year anniversary compilation review. Of course, Slips and Slurs was a part of that as well. You know, stakes were high for that one, stakes were high for this one, and neither of them disappointed. You know, I do feel like, though, that Unity does do a better job of kind of simultaneously showcasing each of the artists' sounds a lot better than Break the Silence does, a song that kind of just featured little snippets, especially of artists like Slips and Slurs, little couple bar phrases that kind of showcased their production styles. And this one evenly balances, I'd say, Rogue, Stonebank, and Slips and Slurs within all of the drops. And that's another interesting concept that this song brings to the table that Break the Silence didn't necessarily. Each drop is very unique from each other. And because each of the artists featured have such a rich history in dubstep, trap, and drumstep, this song made for a really tasteful hybrid of sounds. Like I said, stakes were high and the trio did not disappoint. Next up is, I absolutely cannot believe I'm doing this Time by Tazo. You know, hardstyle used to be my absolute least favorite subgenre in EDM, and artists like Tazo have turned that around to a point where hardstyle is easily one of my favorite subgenres. This Time might not be anything absolutely spectacular compositionally, but this song just carries some absolutely raw energy to it that I just feel like no other song has done on this album. It's meant to be a festival smasher, and if we can judge it by how the hard dance community has reacted to this song so far, it absolutely gets the job done. Next up is Sweet by Monstercat's best 2016 recruit, Unlike Pluto. I'm probably going to get killed in my sleep for not putting Everything Black in my top 5, but the fact of the matter is, I just love this song so much more. The song is like the embodiment of sexiness and also uses the best of Unlike Pluto's abilities. The jazzy sounds, the 80s rock influenced vocals, the sweet guitar licks, the saxophone leading up to the drop, everything about the song is infectious. In fact, really the only negative thing I could say about the song is that the vocals during the drop get a little bit repetitive, but that's really the only bad thing about it. This song is near perfect. And before I get to my number 5, I would just like to say that I considered 2 different Stonebank songs for this spot, but I figured with me already picking Unity as one of my 5, I wasn't going to put a second Stonebank song in here, so I just completely eliminated Bass Drop and Ripped to Pieces. I ended up going with Neos by Glacier. Man, I don't mean to be harsh, but I absolutely hated Dancing by Myself featuring Kayla, Glacier's debut if you don't include his remix of Get On Up by Pegboard Nerds. Glacier is a great instrumentalist. He doesn't need a tossed around Monstercat vocalist to make his songs sound better. And maybe that's precisely where he went right with Neos, which I feel like he really stepped up on. Neos kind of feels like Haywire went and learned like 5 instruments and then decided to go house and future bass at the same time. There's that much variation in this song. Like I said with Topi, this is the kind of stuff that makes me really ache for some really creative house music, because this takes so much different styles and combines them all into one fantastic track. You've got your standard synth solos, you've got like a freaking flute solo somewhere thrown in there. It's straight funky, you've got some off-kilter percussion in there. Just overall, this one is really fresh and definitely showcases just how Monstercat is pushing into some seriously great new territory. Absolutely love Neos. And yeah, that's about it. If you have listened through this thing already, I'd like to know what your favorites are down in the comment section below. And as always, I'm Landon Remixes. I hope you guys enjoyed this top 5 video, and I'll catch you later. Peace.